Today, I want to talk about this concept that's a somatic practice. It's probably, I would say, one of the most important or emphasized practices within somatic psychology. And that is the concept of orienting yourself to the present moment. So it sounds very simple, and it is, but what is the alternative to orienting yourself to the present moment? The alternative is operating on autopilot, kind of that left brain thinking when you're really got some serious tunnel vision kicking and you're really looking at the details and the minutia of things versus looking at the whole picture and the whole forest versus just staring directly at that tree and not seeing anything else around you or having a relationship with it. So I even think about objects in your space. Do you relate to those objects, or do you not even take notice of them because you're so busy just with tunnel vision and focused on, all the demands that occur in your day that are just kind of weighing on your shoulders? So I do like this strategy, and it's very simple. And the thing about simple things is that we tend to overlook them or think they're silly or think they're too simple. But like I said, the alternative isn't necessarily better, kind of sucks, actually. So I'm going to lead you through how to do this. So presenting or orienting yourself to the present moment is super simple. And you're just going to tune into your 4 different senses. You can tap into 5 if you want, but the 5th one that I'll talk about is sometimes difficult to do, depending on your current state. So the first one, you can do sight. And so you can look around your environment and just see and label maybe 3 things that you notice in your environment. So I'll look over here. I see a really cool wooden giraffe in my Airbnb in Costa Rica. And if I look at it, the wood is very cool because like some of the wood looks like it's of one type of tree type, and then the other wood looks like it's a different tree type. And then there's really cool like lines from the tree that it was carved out of that is a part of the art of the giraffe. And so I'm relating to this object in the present moment, and I can't be anywhere else. I can't be future tripping. I can't be thinking about the past. And that is really something that is very soothing on the nervous system. So then I'm going to find 2 more things. So there's a really, I wouldn't say cool, I'm not overly impressed by it, but there is, and that's the thing too, is you don't really want to do a lot of judgments. It's just your relationship with it and what you see, labeling it. So I see a plant on the floor. It has 4 different leaves. It's in a little planter box that has little rocks in it. And it obviously must be for this type of environment because I haven't watered it once and I've been here for over 20 days and it looks perky and just fine. So that's me relating to that object. And then I'll do one more. Let's see. The 3rd one is my painting that is sitting on the shelf over there. And looking at it, I noticed that there are a bunch of, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 watercolor peaches on the piece of paper. And there is some like kind of aquamarine blue and yellow ochre, what's supposed to look like tarnished wood that the peaches are sitting on. And there's different shades of peach, lighter shades and darker shades. And there's a bunch of leaves coming off the peaches. And so, yeah, just orienting myself to my present environment I now am relating to the objects in my space. And this can be very beneficial for even doing a better job relating with human beings and recognizing that they are in your space and seeing one another. So that's the sight. Touch. So I'm going to do 3 things that I see, and this is different. You can do 5 things you see. You can do 4 things you see. Just make it up. So now I'm going to do touch. And so I'm going to do, maybe I'm just going to do 2 things that I can touch. And so let's see, I'm going to just touch my arm. And kind of what I notice is that it's kind of a little bumpy. My skin, my forearm, I can actually feel more hair in my forearm, and my upper arm is much more smooth. And then my lower arm has hair on it that I can feel. And then the second thing I'm going to touch is just my bedspread. So really tuning into the way it feels. It's soft. It is more on the smooth side, and I can feel the stitching, the stitch that's been sewed into it. And so again, this really helps get me out of my head, get me more embodied. And so we did sight and we did touch. We can do hearing. And so it does help if you shut down some senses. So I'm going to just close my eyes and see if I can name 3 things I can hear. I hear birds out my screen door. I hear my fan oscillating. And I think that's it. So yeah, I just only hear 2 things right now. So hearing, again, really grounds me into the present moment and really makes me zone in, which is lovely. Then we've got smell. So again, I am going to close my eyes to shut down another sense. And so I could really zone into more of that sensory experience of just smell and eliminate sight. So I'm going to close my eyes. And honestly, I'm trying to see if I smell anything. I don't know if I smell a thing. I guess I smell, if this makes sense, it's like density of humidity and like thick air. And that's really hard to explain what that smells like. Or like kind of the smell of like really hot, like burnt leaves and tree branches and stuff outside that's just been sitting in the heat all day. So yeah, that's what I smell. And then the last one that I don't always do, kind of depends. I mean, you can do it because you never know if you just ate something, but it's taste. And you can purposefully get something to eat or drink and then really hone in on that sense purposefully by picking things to put in your mouth, whether it's like a cup of tea or a piece of fruit or a piece of chocolate, whatever you can find to really get into the present moment and have a relationship with that sense of taste. And so if I just like swirl around in my mouth, it does taste a little bit like the brown rice pasta that I just ate. So I can kind of really just move my tongue around and see what I can come up with. So I came up with what I just ate for lunch. Simple, super, super simple, but very, very helpful if you are spinning out, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with worry or ruminating thoughts. You can just do this over and over and over again. And it's very beneficial. There are so many other wonderful somatic practices that help regulate and calm the nervous system, and for so many different reasons, whether it's dealing with being in fight or flight, or dealing with anxiety, or dealing with a traumatic event, or dealing with chronic pain. That's a big one. It may not necessarily eliminate the pain, but it may lessen your overreactivity to your reaction to the pain. So if you'd like to play with me, I will put my website down at the bottom, and I can give you some tools, these somatic practices that I feel like are so needed in today's world, with more and more disconnection from our bodies and from ourselves with this world of technology. And we're just getting further and further and further away from our home base, which is inside this container that we live in. So that's saying, check out my website. You can look and see like the sliding scale and send me a message, and I would love to work with you. So have a beautiful day. Much love.